Hello everyone, my name is Ken Iwotu. I'm a cryptocurrency analyst with mtxcrypto.com. Today's training session is going to focus on cryptocurrency trading within the Binance environment. What we're going to do essentially is we're going to cover a number of topics within the Binance framework. We're going to look at security. We're going to look at how you deposit funds. We're going to touch on the market itself from a holistic viewpoint. We're going to touch on the trading environment, where we'll be looking at the charts and the open exchange itself. We're also going to be touching on how to withdraw your money, obviously, once you've made a profit. And we will do a little bit of an exercise, at the tail end of the course itself, just to give people a bit more confidence in buying and selling cryptos. Okay. Then lastly, I will talk to you just for a few minutes about mtxcrypto.com and obviously what opportunities we have for potential investors like yourself. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Right. Now, this is Binance.com's homepage. The first time that you attempt to log in to Binance after you've registered, it will actually prompt you to enable 2FA authentication. And you can do that in two ways. You've got the Google authentication and you've got the SMS authentication. I personally prefer the Google authentication more because it is more secure. And obviously, as you know, with phones can be hacked, and the codes coming back to you to authenticate you obviously can be hijacked as well. So I would recommend Google authentication, and that's quite straightforward to set up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at how you can actually deposit funds into your Binance account. Now, to do that, the first thing you do is you come over to this menu here, Wallet, and you click on Overview. Right, so here we are. So essentially what you need to do now is to click on Deposits, which I'm going to do right now. All right, okay. All right. So this is where we deposit funds. Obviously, as you can see, we have four different methods in which you can deposit funds. But I'm only going to focus on the most frequent ones, which is depositing by cash and deposit crypto. Okay. So if you were going to deposit by cash, essentially that will be money coming in from an external exchange into your Binance wallet, or money coming in from your bank account itself. Okay, so if you look up here, you will see we have two methods of depositing here. We have deposit fiat, which is your dollars or your pounds or your currencies, and you have depositing cryptos. So we're going to look at depositing fiat at the moment. So now I'm in the UK, so basically I will be looking to deposit my money in British pounds. So it is set to British pounds. Here we have two options here for processing the transaction. And obviously I'm going to click on the zero fee, which is a faster payment. And then I click on next. Now it requires me to put in the amount that I want to actually I want to deposit into my Binance account. I've just put £100 for illustration. Then we click on next, confirm. And we have this little dialog box that comes up. Now, this box essentially is actually giving us some very important information relating to the transaction that we're about to take on. Now, one thing you must take into account is the fact that you can't uh, transfer money from your bank account to your Binance account with a different name. So if you had a business account or you had an account which is not in your name, you can't transfer that amount or that money to your Binance account. Okay, and there are other little informations here that you can obviously read up on. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. Now, one thing to be very aware of here is that you've got the name of the account, the account number, and the sort code. But very importantly is the reference code. Now, this information you will obviously take to your online bank and actually make the transaction from there. But always remember to add the reference code, because without the reference code, your money might actually be lost. There is a strong possibility it might be lost. So it's very important that when you're transferring money from your bank account to Binance, you put in the relevant details and also include your reference code as well. Okay, so that's essentially how you would actually transfer money from your bank to your Binance account. So if we go back to the main screen, right, okay. So we're going to look at the second method now, which is depositing crypto. Now, what this essentially means is that you most likely would have crypto in an external wallet. I mean, it could be in Luno, it could be in Coinbase, it could be in Qcoin, and you want to actually transfer um, those coins or tokens to your Binance account. Okay, so basically this is where you will come. And as you can see here, this is the default coin that is showing Bitcoin. Obviously, I have other coins here as well that you can choose from. But at the moment, let's stick with Bitcoin. Now, when we get here, this address is the Bitcoin address that is required by the external exchange. Okay, so this information needs to be pasted into the recipient's section of the external exchange, and obviously with the amount, so that the external exchange knows exactly where the money is going to come to. Okay, now one thing you must be aware of, you can't transfer Ethereum to Bitcoin. So what I mean by that essentially is that you can't have Ethereum on your external exchange and want to transfer it to your Bitcoin on Binance. It's got to be Bitcoin to Bitcoin, Binance, Ethereum to Ethereum. So the coins themselves have got to be the same. Otherwise, you might find yourself losing money. Okay. So, right. So we've looked at how you can actually deposit money into your Binance account, and also how you can actually deposit some of your cryptos, which you have stored in external wallets, into the Binance exchange. Okay, the next thing we're going to do now is to look at the market itself. Right. Now, this is the market. I've just clicked on market here. I've just clicked on market here, and what this essentially does is it gives us a holistic view of the entire market. You can see that we have various markets here. We've got the BNB market. If I click on that, and I will see my coins actually paired with BNB all the way through. If I do the same with BTC, I can actually see the coins paired with BTC and all the way through like that. Now, what I want to focus on here essentially is what we have. Now, if you look at this first um, cryptocurrency pair, ICP stroke BTC, um, this figure here, 0.03988, is actually the price of IPC divided by the price of BTC in dollars. All right, so that's what you have here. Now, this second price here is the price, the actual price of the asset itself, the IPC. Now here, this is your 24-hour change in the price of the asset. So what this is telling me essentially is that within the last 24 hours, IPC has actually depreciated by 14.38%. Now this is the highest value that the asset has attained within 24 hours, and this is the lowest value. Then this is the volume of trade within the last 24 hours. Okay, so that's what this is about. It's nothing too complicated. It's just giving you a holistic view of the assets and the changes in prices and all that. Right. Okay. What we're going to look at next now is the trading environment itself. Okay. Before we start, I'm just going to change this to RLC USDT pair. I'll explain. Okay, so here we are. Now, you will always have a currency pair. At the moment, we have RLC stroke USD DT currency pair, and everything on this page actually relates to this pair. Okay. Now, what this essentially means is that you can actually buy um, RLC if you have USDT, if you have money in your USDT wallet. Okay. So that's the pair. Now, this figure here is actually the cost of LTC divided by USDT in dollars. Okay, as you know, USDT is actually a stable coin, and it actually has a one-to-one pair with the dollar. So essentially, this price here is RLC, the price of RLC over one, more or less. So that's why you have these two prices as the same, but it doesn't always follow that way. Okay. Now, this is a 24-hour change in the price of the asset, as I stated earlier, and that's in percentages, and that's more or less in the actual the differentiation of the asset itself in terms of price. Again, the 24-hour high, 24-hour low. This is a volume of RLC that has been traded. When I talk about volume, I'm talking about the buys and the sells. Also here we are looking at the buys and the sells of USDT. Okay, now moving over to the right-hand side here, you will see that, I'll take that away for a second. What you can do if you're looking for you're looking for a specific pair, this is where you will normally search for them. Now, if you want a quick search, maybe you're looking for a pair that that is with BTC. What you do first of all is you just click on BTC, and you can see all the currency pair, the cryptocurrency pairs with BTC come up. So if I'm looking for Dodge, for instance, okay, I can see quite clearly. I click on Dodge. You can see that the entire page reflects Dodge now. The charts, everything on the page reflects Dodge. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about these two things here, change and volume. Now, this is the price of the Dogecoin. As I pointed out earlier, the cost of the Dogecoin divided by the cost of BTC is actually going to give you this figure. All right. Okay. Now this is the change of the asset within the last 24 hours. So it has actually appreciated by 0.64%. Now, if I click on volume, this gives me the volume of trades within a 24-hour period. Okay, so I think this is pretty straightforward at the moment. Okay, now moving on to the right-hand side, you will see reds and greens. This whole area is what we call the order book. Now, the order book is where you have pending orders which have been, they've been submitted, but they've not been executed as of yet. Okay. Now, if you just wanted to see just the sales, which is in red, you'll click on this button here. Okay. If you wanted to see just the buys, the pending orders which are buys, you click on that button. And if you want to see, the buys and the sales, which obviously is the default, you'll have a combination of the buys and the sells here. Okay, now the next thing we want to look at is the chart itself. Now this is the chart area here, and you can see we have candlesticks here. We have greens and reds. The greens represent the buys and the red represent the sells. And as you can see quite clearly, what's been happening here is there's been a lot of buying and all of a sudden a bit of selling, buying, and all the way through like that, all the way through. Okay, okay. Underneath here you have the volumes. So you can see here, for instance, this is the volume, the total volume of Dodge and BTC. You can see the volumes here. So you're adding these two volumes together to give you the total volume of trade. Okay. Now here you have the total the volume of sales and all the way through. Okay. So you can see if I click on that, it's obviously going to be aligned with the buys. Yeah. Okay. Now, before we go any further, what I want to do now is to show you how you can actually um, show more than two screens, because sometimes you could have two assets that you actually want to see, want to see exactly what's going on with both assets. So what you do, first of all, you come over here to this star-like button here, and you click on multiple. The default is order mode. You click on multiple, and you click on two. So I think I have about two assets at the moment. So obviously we should be able to see the charts from the two assets in one screen. All right, so there we go. So I have BTC USDT, and I also have Inch USDT. So basically, I can see exactly what's happening in both charts. Okay, it's quite a useful feature to be able to see all your charts on one screen. All right, so let's go back to the default. Okay, I'll go back to the classic. Okay, right. The next thing we want to look at now is the exchange. Um, Now, the exchange is where you buy and you sell your assets. Okay. Now, this is the buy area, and that's the sell area. Now, we have three methods that you can actually use to buy or sell an asset. I'll start with the market order. The market order allows you to purchase an asset almost immediately. Okay, so say for instance, an asset, the price is actually rising quite significantly, and you want to get in on the action. I mean, say there, for instance, okay, and what you will do essentially is you will buy the asset um, with the market order. So if I click on that, essentially what that is going to do essentially is if I put in the amount that I want to buy in terms of USDT, okay, and then obviously if I click on buy BTC, then obviously I'll be able to buy BTC. Okay. Now let me talk to you about this slider here. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to determine, how much you want to actually spend. Okay. It's easy now because I'm looking at USDT, but if I had another pair, say Dodge stroke BTC, for instance, then it will be quite difficult because we'll have fractions more or less 0.00 numbers, and obviously it's quite difficult to determine. So basically what we do, we use these sliders to determine what fraction of monies we have available, okay, in USDT that we want to actually spend. So say for instance, I wanted to spend only about a quarter of the amount I have here, then obviously I'll stop there. If I wanted half of the amount, as you can see, it's mirroring half of it there. If I wanted everything to be, if I wanted to buy BTC with all my USDT, then obviously I'll click the scale to the end. Okay. All right. So we're not going to do that at the moment. So that's how you would normally buy BTC. Okay. Now, the second option is the limit order. Now, what this is essentially is if you wanted to buy an asset at a certain price, okay, then obviously you will use this option because sometimes what we have is a situation where um, we, sorry, let me make this a bit more. Yeah, so if we have a situation, I'm just going to change this to the 4-hour view now for a second, so that we can see the axis a bit more clearly. So what that essentially means is that each of these um, each of these candlesticks is within a 4-hour frame. Okay, that's what it means essentially. Okay, so if we're looking at let's say there, for instance, okay, it's rising, and obviously we want to buy the asset, but we don't want to, we want to buy it most likely when it has fallen to a certain level. And maybe at the time you've looked at this asset, it's somewhere around there, okay? And you might say to yourself, you know what? I want to buy my assets, there, 49779, so that when the asset does appreciate, then I can make a bit of profit. Okay. So if I were going to do that, 49501, okay, say I want to buy the asset there, 49501. What I'll do essentially here is come here and put 49501. And the next thing I would do is I would now establish how much of my USDT I want to convert into Bitcoin. Okay. Now I've chosen about $84 at the moment, okay, which is like a quarter. Now, if I click on buy BTC, what that will do is it would create what I call an impending order. All right. I'll do that now so that you can see it. Your order price is 5% higher than the latest market. All right. Okay. I see what's going on here. Now, let me go back to, let me come to somewhere around this region here. Okay. Because obviously I started from way back here. Let me come here and I decide I want to buy the asset at 43221. Okay, 43221. 43221. Right. Okay. And let's assume I want to spend $80. Okay. Now, if I click on this, it will create a pending order. And if we go down here, we can see where it appears in the open orders. Okay. That's the order we just placed just now. Okay. As you can see, $80, but it's taken obviously about maybe about 4 cents as commission, more or less. Okay. Now these orders here, these sell orders here are orders that were previously put in. Okay. Now they will execute when when it reaches the exact prices that are shown here. Okay. So this is the order that we put in, and the buy order. And if we wanted to cancel this order, we will just click on there, on cancel. Okay. So that's your limit order. Now your stop limit order is, you can look at a stop limit order for, you can break it down into two components, the stop order and the limit order. But first and foremost, let me change the currency pair so that I can obviously show you something. I want LTC, BTC, L. Right. All right. So that's our LC BTC pair. As you can see, that's reflected here, and this is the graph. Okay. Now let's look at the 1 hour time frame and see what we have here. Let me look at the 15 minutes to see if I get a better visual view. All right. Okay, that's slightly better. Okay. So again, as I said earlier, each of the the candlesticks here represents 15 minutes. Okay, all the way through. So as you change the various time periods, remember that each of the frames, each of the candlesticks represents that time frame. All right. All right. Okay. Now we were talking about the stop limit order. Now the stop limit order is very similar to the limit order, but it has, I think it's much more powerful. Let me explain. Now, as I did say earlier that you have two components, the stop order and the limit order. Now, let's assume that your assets is falling rapidly. It's falling rapidly. Now, if you've just set a limit order, there is a chance that no one would buy your asset at the price that you have given at that particular point in time, and you might miss it. So the asset may continue to fall. So if there's a rapid fall or a rapid rise, a limit order sometimes is missed. Now, what the stop order does essentially is the stop order, once the price of the asset gets to the stop order, it actually executes a limit order. So that ensures that once it gets to the limit order price, it will be executed. Okay. So if we look at a bit of an example of how that can be done, let's assume that we want to um, we want to um, we want to set um, a sell stop limit order. Okay. Now Um, this is where we are at the moment. I'm just giving you a let's use this. This is a bit of an example, right? Okay. At this point, you can see that the this candlestick on the green is 16,974. Yeah. Okay. 16,974. Let's assume that you want to set, you don't want you want to set a stop limit order, but you don't want to, you want to make sure that the asset does not fall beyond a certain level. Let's assume that level is there, okay? So the level that we don't want it to fall below is a limit order of 16,704. But what we need to do is we need to set a stop order a bit further up, say for instance at 16,774. Okay. So what will happen essentially is that when the asset starts to decline, when it gets to the stop order will now execute a limit order and ensure that the asset is actually sold when it gets to that particular point, which is 16,704. So let's have a look at that and see exactly what's going on here. So that's what we'll do. Um, our stop, if I do that, okay, you can see the limit order here. We said the limit order would be 16,704. Okay, 704. Now the stop order, obviously, as we said, will be slightly higher. Okay, because remember, um, it has to get to the stop order first before it gets to the limit order. So now you can decide if you have bought RLC coins, you can decide how much you want to actually sell at that point. Again, it could be 50%, it could be 100%. I do have some RLTs in there at the moment, as you can see. So I can actually sell them off if I wanted to. Um, okay, so no, hold on a second. No, I don't have any RLC. No, I haven't bought any RLC at the moment. So under the RLC BTC pair, I don't have any RLC. Okay, that is why the amount here is showing zero. Okay. However, I want to show you something else. Now, if I were going to, let's take the RLC BUSDT pair, because I do know that I have RLC, which I bought using USDT. Okay, let me see. Hold on one second. Let me just double check and see that I do actually have RLC as part of my portfolio. Because at the moment it's showing that I don't have any RLC available. So let's actually see what's going on. RLC. I do have RLC available. I have about $839 there. All right. So let's go back. Um, let's go back into, this is a bit of a shortcut back into the trading environment. Uh, there. Now, there is a reason why it's telling me that I don't have any RLC available, even though I do. And I'll show you, I'll show you exactly why. Now, if you look down here, you will see that my RLC stroke USDT pair here, I have requested that it be sold. Okay, once it gets to the price of $15. Okay, so basically, when you create a sell order, it ties up the assets. So you can't actually use that money until you release it. So if I were to cancel this order now, if I were to cancel this order, okay. So I've canceled that order now, and what do we have here? It has actually released my RLC my assets, the amount I have in here. Okay. So um, going back to what we are doing earlier on, I did say that you know the your stop order um, price has got to be reached first, then your limit order price. Then obviously you put in the amount of RLC that you want to um, sell, and let's just do it actually. Let's put in a stop. Okay, let's assume now that I don't want this asset to fall beyond, um, let's see, I'm here at the moment. I don't want this asset to fall beyond that very point there. Okay, so that's 7.0969. All right, that's my limit order. That's where I don't want, that's where I want it to stop. Okay, so when it gets to that point, I want it to sell. But before then, I need to set like a stop order, and I'll put that down as 7.1750. Okay. So what that means essentially is that when this asset starts to the price starts to fall, it will hit the stop order price first, then that will execute the limit order price. Okay. So what I can essentially do here is to put in my stop order price. That's 7.1750, and then put in my limit order price, which is 7.0969. Okay, and again, I can determine um, that's the amount. This is the amount of RLC, but I can determine how much I want to actually sell. Okay, so if I want to sell everything, that's everything I have there. Okay, it will sell everything once those criteria are met. Okay, so that's your stop limit order. So to recap again, we have the market order price, which gives you the best possible price, and it's more or less immediate. Okay, but the drawdown of using the market order is that the charges that you pay is a bit more. Obviously, because you want an instantaneous result, the charges are going to be high. The commissions that are taken out from the transaction. Then you have your limit order here, where you have decided what you want to actually buy or sell at a certain price. So you actually dictate what price you want to buy and sell your assets. Okay. The stop limit order, as I said before, allows you to set a stop order price and a limit order price. Now, the benefit of a stop limit order is that if your asset is rising or falling drastically, particularly falling drastically, you want to be able to make sure that um, once the price gets to your limit order, it does execute. And the stop order price, the stop order allows that to happen because it actually executes the limit order and makes sure that the price that you've set as your limit order does not the asset does not actually go beyond that before it actually executes the order. Okay. So, um, right. So this is a new feature here, market activity. Okay. Now, what this is essentially is that you can tell what's happening in the markets. If there are large buys or large sells, you can actually see that at a glance here. So, for instance, we have a large sell here. Let's have a look at this pair. Oh, let's have a look at this pair, AAVE um, USDT pair. It's a large sell, remember. Right. So you can see quite clearly here. It's actually still going on. There's a huge sell-off here, and obviously this that large sale that we're talking about refers to what's going on here at the moment. So sometimes you might want to use that facility to find out which asset is actually where are most of the activities happening. And if there is a large buy, it could be that the asset is appreciating and you probably want to get in on the action. You can obviously use that facility as well. Okay. Now we've had a very good look at the environment. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now I want to just show you a few things that are on this page as well. If you look at the top section here, this is more or less for notices. Binance sometimes provides notices to people using this platform. So, for instance, say for instance, a new coin is to be listed on Binance. You most probably will find it here. Or if Binance were going to do some, like for instance here, it's talking about staking, and if there were maintenance that were going to take place on the Binance network, obviously you get that information here. So this is more or less a notice board. Okay. All right. So. We have looked at the trading environment. At first glance, it's always very daunting, but as you can see, it's not that difficult to understand, once you understand the basic components, okay? Right. So, the next thing we're going to look at is to establish how we can withdraw money from the exchange into either an external wallet or into our bank accounts. Obviously, when you've made a profit. All right. All right. So once again, we'll click on Overview. And um, right. And then we will click on Withdraw. All right. Now, there are two ways, as I said earlier, that you can withdraw your funds. Um, Now, if you were going to say, for instance, you had, I don't know, maybe about, you had some Bitcoin and you actually wanted to move some of your Bitcoin within the Binance exchange to maybe your Bitcoin portfolio in Coinbase, for instance, okay? So you will select the coin, okay? Let me just show you what we have in here first of all before we go. This is my entire portfolio, okay? This is my entire portfolio. But at the moment, I want to focus on Bitcoin. Now, this address here is the address of Bitcoin in the external wallet, okay? Where the money is going, or the asset, so to speak. So this address you will actually get from Coinbase or Luno or any other open exchange, but the address will be the BTC address. Once you put that address in there, and obviously select the network, obviously I'm going to select Bitcoin, okay? Then you will have a button open up here, and you can click on that button and obviously you'll be able to put in the amount, and obviously it goes from there. Okay. But one thing to remember is you have to, it has to be the Bitcoin address that you have in the external exchange. All right. The Bitcoin address in the external exchange. Okay. And remember, once again, you can only transfer Bitcoin to Bitcoin. You can't transfer Bitcoin to Ethereum. The asset must be the same. Okay. Okay, so that's how you would do that, and as I said, that's quite straightforward. Once you put in the address here, then obviously you'll be able to put in, you get a button, be able to put in the amount and all that, and obviously it goes. Okay. Now, if you were going to transfer money to your bank account, you'd click on withdraw fiat. Okay. Right. Now, as I said earlier, I am in the UK, not interested in Euro at the moment. So basically, I'll be looking for British pounds. All right. Okay. So this is where we are. Now, I can withdraw using any of these processing methods. But obviously the fees are the same, so there's no benefit using the bank card. So I'll stick with the faster payments. Okay. Now here, I put in the amount that I want to withdraw. Now, at this present time, I have only $15.82 pence. Sorry, 18 pounds, 15 pounds, 82 pence in my GTP wallet. Okay. Now the minimum I can actually withdraw is $20. Now, if I put 20, sorry, the minimum I can withdraw is 20 pounds. If I put 20, obviously I don't have that amount, so it's not going to let me do it. If I put 15, it would have let me do it, but obviously the minimum amount is 20 pounds. Okay, so I can't proceed beyond this point. But if I had more than 20 pounds, obviously that button will lighten up. Then obviously will allow me to put in my bank details and everything, and obviously the money will goes directly into my account. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's how you would transfer money to your bank account, or as we spoke of earlier, to another exchange um, with with the same asset with the same asset name. Yeah. Okay, so um, let's just recap before we do the exercise. We've actually looked at we've actually looked at the market itself, and as I said earlier, the market more or less gives you a bit of a holistic view of what's going on with the various assets. Yep, and obviously you can see that. Right, okay. You can see the various markets here. Um, BTC, yeah. So, and again, you can search as well. So it just gives you a bit of an overview. We did talk about the trading environment. You've got the classic there, but I prefer to use the advanced because it's kind of the same thing. But obviously, if you've learned to use the advanced um, platform, I think it's much easier and better for you. Okay. So that's the platform itself. I did talk about the order book, which you have on your right-hand side, the buy. This is the sells, and that's the buys. These are pending orders which have not been executed. All right. Now, here are what we call confirmed orders. These ones have actually been executed. You can see the price of the assets, the amount in BTC, and the time that this order was executed. Yeah, we've seen our charts here, the candlesticks, the greens, the buys, and the reds, the sells. Again, we can see the volumes here. Now, what we have here, I know I hadn't spoken about this. This is where we have more or less. This is an indicator that is used to help us determine roughly the direction of the asset in terms of if it's going to be a buy or a sell, or it's not something I'm actually going to talk about on this course. But obviously, if we were looking at the follow-up course from this, I'll be looking specifically at how we can use these indicators to determine precisely if an asset is going to rise or is going to fall. But for now, just have it take a note that this is more or less you have your RSI indicators here, which which can use to actually give us an indication as in where the asset is going. Okay, now this section here is your exchange where you can buy and sell your cryptos. At the very bottom here, as soon as you place an order, if it's a market order, it goes straight into the order book. If it's limit order or a stop limit order, you most likely would find it here in your open orders. Okay, and if you place an order and you want to cancel it, you can click on cancel there. Now here you have your order history of all the orders, and the history of all the trades. Okay, so that's your environment in a nutshell. Okay, and yep, so that's fine. I think that's pretty straightforward. So now what we want to do is we've looked at the environment, we've looked at various parts of the platform, but I want us to actually look at actually buying an asset and selling an asset. Yeah. Okay. Now, let me see. Let me first of all start off with establishing what asset I don't have so that we can start from there in terms of buying an asset. Right, this is your, okay, right. Okay, so basically, um, I don't have Doge at the moment, okay, as you can see. I have a lot of assets here, but I don't have Doge. But I do have money in my USDT. So what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try to buy Dogecoin, okay, with my money that I have available in my USDT, okay? So first and foremost, let's get back to the exchange and let's look for the Doge USDT pair, which is that one there. Okay, again, I'm taking that pair because I know I have money in my USDT. All right. Okay. Right. So basically, the task now is to buy some Doge from my USDT. That's the task at the moment. So what I will do, I'll come down here and you can see quite clearly I have $353 and some cents in USDT, and I want to buy Dogecoin. So obviously I can. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy $20 worth of Doge, and I'm going to make it a market order. And as I said before, market orders execute immediately. Okay, so the chances of them actually turning up in the open order is very, very slim. Okay, so I'm going to do that at the moment. Again, I could use the sliders if I wanted to, but I think I can just round this up and make it $20. Okay, so again, it's a market order. As soon as I do that, okay, it executes immediately. All right. So now if I go back and check, and see what has happened. Right. You will notice that I now have Dogecoin as part of my collection. Right. So there you go. So I now have Dogecoin as part of my collection. Yeah. So I've now bought $20 worth of Dogecoin. Okay. Now, again, this is a shortcut to take me back into the trading environment. Now I'm going to select the pair, which is Doge USDT. So we go back to where we were. All right. Okay, so I've got $20 worth of Doge at the moment, and what I want to do now is um, I want to sell my Doge. I want to put them back into my USDT. So essentially, what I'll do again, I will select market order because I want it to be done instantaneously, and I want all my Doge, which is $20 worth. Okay, everything I have in Doge to be sold. Okay, so once I do that. Again, it doesn't show up in the open orders. It just executes straight away. So that's essentially how I would buy and how I would sell an asset. And again, you have extra functionalities. You can use a limit order. You can use a stop limit order, depending on what you're trying to achieve. Okay. Okay. I hope that was pretty helpful. What I'm going to do right now is to spend just a few minutes talking to you about um, mtxcrypto.com and more or less what kind of opportunities it opens up for potential investors. Now, mtxcrypto.com is a great resource for investors looking to make a decision in selecting, coins which are deemed to be profitable. Okay. Now, you what you can do here is you can actually look at breaking news. Um, Now, because the crypto market is very, very volatile and highly speculative, what you'll find out is that the price or the fall of an asset sometimes um, results from news. Okay, so you could have news of an asset where there's a significant development taking place, where there's a breakthrough. Again, you can also have an asset like XRP at one point that was under investigation, and we all saw how that asset plummeted in price. Okay, so you've got breaking news here where you can see what's happening in the market at a notch, first hand, and that more or less would help you in terms of guiding your decision to buy or sell a particular asset at any particular point in time. Okay, so these news articles are obviously you get them every single day, so it's breaking news as it happens. Okay, so that's a facility for you. You also have real-time prices of the assets. So we have the top 100 assets available, and you can see exactly what's happening with the assets that you have. Um, you can see, for instance, with Bitcoin, the current price is $43,209. And you can see within the last 24 hours, it has depreciated by 2.7%. And this is the amount of money that, the amount of dollars that it has depreciated by. So you have a whole array of assets and you have information available for you to make that decision. Okay. Another feature we have is this is new. We call it coin of the day. Now, what this is essentially is you have we do analysis and fundamental analysis on various coins, and we actually list coins that we think will do well on the day. Okay, there are a lot of things we take into consideration before we actually do list the coins. As I said, things like news, looking at the graphs from analytical viewpoints, um, and we're able to use various tools to actually come up with a final coin that we list for potential investors to take advantage of. Okay. We also have what I call a further training course that we offer. It's called Profit Crypto Training. It's a Zoom training session, and essentially it's a follow-up from this basic crypto training that we've just carried out. Now, the benefits of this particular training is it's actually for serious investors, people who have a fairly good knowledge about trading and who actually want to now move on to the step of using various tools that we will provide to actually improve their chance of making a profit. In this training, we will show you how to enter a trade, so what you're looking for in terms of the parameters to enter a trade, and also when to exit a trade as well. We will also be talking to you about indicators to establish when a coin is oversold or when it's overbought. When it's oversold, it means it's time to buy, and when it's overbought, it means essentially it's time to sell. Okay, but these are indicators more or less to help you. Um, Again, as I said earlier, we have tools in place that we will make available to people who actually go through this program, and they will be able to use these tools to actually watch the market a bit more closely and hopefully make better decisions in terms of their trading. You will also have access to our trading platform. We have where we have our signals, profit signals we call them. What it is on a daily basis, we have coins in there which we believe have the potential to do quite well. And also, in some cases, we will actually provide you with the evidence that we have that has, informed us to make such a decision. That evidence could be an announcement, it could be anything really. But again, it's more or less to reaffirm why we actually chose this particular coin or coins um, um, for the day. So members can actually go in there and actually use that facility as well, use the coins that we have in there, and obviously make profits as it were. Um, Also, what we do as a follow-up is for investors who take on this program, what we say to you essentially is that we expect you to move on from that training session and invest a minimum of $5,000. What we do essentially, we'll work with you to actually make your first $500. So it's a pretty. So we're not essentially just offering you training. We're going to work with you to make sure that you do actually make money. And obviously, after that, you'll be fully armed with the tools that you need and everything else to be able to go on and be a successful trader. Okay. Now the training, the profit crypto training is $1,000, and as I said earlier before, we're actually going to be working with you to get the first 500 from your investment. All right, so essentially, right. Okay, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this training has been informative, and I hope you've learned a few things about the environment and how to trade. Um, it is it's not it's a first step. This training is a basic training course. It's the first step. But as I said earlier, if you want to actually go on and actually start to make some profits while you trade, then obviously you might want to consider the Profit Crypto training course that we offer.